Hello, everybody. You could call me Hunch. It's a very important video today on Easter Sunday, and by the way, Happy Easter if you celebrate it. I hope it was peaceful and joyous. You had a nice meal, whatever you do or celebrate. I hope you enjoyed your Sunday, regardless. So today we're going to be talking about why I think Sovryn could be resurging, why I still am in it. Right, I still hold this thesis of Bitcoin DeFi. I still hold this thesis that the euro dollar is coming to the U.S., right? That the time value of money will be returned. If you haven't watched some of my videos on this, I've made at least 3 to 5 videos about how the yield curves in the U.S. and the euro dollar overseas are conflicting. It's causing problems with money, and I actually think outside of money, because interests are not aligned, right? Some people are getting caught in the vortex of the Fed raising rates or lowering rates. And it's causing conflict. So I do think in order to save the dollar, Bitcoin is necessary. I think it's important to get Bitcoin to go up. We need stable coins. And so we're going to dive into it. So this first thing I want to do is show you a clip. I was recently on Ordinal's Revolution with Yogabi and Shizzy, and they interviewed me and they asked me a question. Now, I recommend you watch the whole video because I'm not going to show you everything. I'm going to show you like a minute of a clip. But then it's going to relate to the rest of what I have going on. So here's the interview. I just want you to pay attention for like a minute. Please just listen. It's very important, right? Okay, so here we go.
Decentralized applications built on stacks do you find most promising, and what makes them stand out to you?
Well, okay. So the most promising, which also probably has the highest chance of failing, right? To me, is DIKO, right? And I think that's because they're solving the most complex issue we have, which is the time value of money, right? Like, how do you solve the time value of money on the blockchain, right? I love shitcoins, like I love the memes, right? I love all that, but at the end of the day, people are working and they want to lend their money out, they want to make investments, and they want to return, right? And that's what the problem I have with Bitcoin Maxi is like. If you ask them what the time value of money is of Bitcoin, right? Maybe the only person who has an answer is Balaji, right? That is coherent. Okay, so that's very important, right? What is the time value of money, right? Do we, I talk about this in the podcast. Do we really want to blow up the dollar? Is it going to be a chaos? Do we want to move to a Bitcoin standard? I think there's, and I talk about this, right? I think there's 2 possible outcomes. I think that's a very high likelihood that could happen. I also think it's a very high likelihood that we don't blow up the dollar, right? Our parents' generation or their parents' generation, don't want to lose everything they've ever worked for, right? And it may need to be a slower transition, right? We may need to move to a stable coin, right? We even may need the stable coin for Bitcoin to become the de facto Bitcoin standard, right? Just to get more liquidity in. So I talk about all those things, but to me, what I'm essentially saying is DIKO has the most potential upside, right? And also Sovryn, which I'm going to be talking about, because they're trying to solve the time value of money. Is what is your money worth based on the time period, whether it's short lending, long lending, what do you get in return for saving versus lending versus spending, right? That is the time value of money. Right now, it's conflicting with the yield curve in the U.S., which is centrally controlled, which is not very capitalistic, versus overseas, which is a better system, I think, where they work on a dollar standard with issuing debt, whether that's for trade or whatever it is, business, where it's more of a natural, what is the free market telling it to be? So I think where we're headed is there, right? Now, we're very early, right? And as an investor, I want to be early, right? I'll show you a thing. I don't know if I brought it up. That it's basically, there's not a lot of users, right? And I say this in the video for DIKO I'm referring to. And that's because I don't think it's the right time, right? I think it's going to be the right time when everybody wants to exit from because Bitcoin is topping out and then go into a stable coin like USDA. Or they have a lot of liquid stacks, right? With all these new liquid products coming out on stacks. They want to put it in a vault on DIKO and they want to get a stable coin. I think that time is coming. I think the time is coming where that yield curve starts to denominate with the newfound wealth of Bitcoin, right? People are going to convert to dollars. They're going to get a yield on it because they want to, go on vacation. They don't want to think about investing. They just want a stable income. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. Now, this is a chart from Stacks Pulse, which is the people who formed NOT. or nothing meme, right? And you can see Alex has way more users than ArcaDeco, and right. But what you need to notice here is this stacking DAO, which is way, you know, insane amount of users for how relatively new they are. Now, the contributors behind stacking DAO are from Zest and from ArcaDeco, and you can put them in the vaults, and you can get USDA, and then you can buy other things with it, like nothing meme, right? Or whatever you want to buy, you can do it. You could also just leave it in the vault and get stacks for interest rather than stacking your stacks and getting Bitcoin interest, right? So it gives you more variability there. But I do think this is going to change dramatically, right? And I think it can also come in many forms, right? Not just the USDA stablecoin. I think Sovryn can have it, right? This has been an early thesis before we did a 4 to 7x in it, right? When I first started talking about it. Right now it's at $2. It's starting to gain traction. I'll show you that. But this guy tweeted, "Sovereign dollar will become a Rune stablecoin." Now, I say this in an interview. I don't know what the benefits of runes are, right? I'm not a developer. I don't understand how UTXOs are working on an intricate level. I don't know the benefits of runes. I'm not trying to talk down about runes. I just can't explain it in detail why it's better than one other protocol, right? But and I brought this up in a Sovryn video where I said, you know, runes is coming to Sovryn, and also tap is coming to Sovryn, whether tap comes out, if they're still going in that direction, right? But definitely runes at this point. And I don't know much about the stablecoin. I didn't listen to this video, but to me, it's a bullish narrative, right? Because if runes is hyped and it gets adoption, right, you have the Sovryn in your theoretical portfolio for DeFi, or maybe Stacks is it, and then you got ArcaDeco, right? So you want to hit big on all of them or one of them, right? At least, right? So now I can prove to you that I've been talking about Sovryn for a long time, because look at how ridiculous these drawings are. It broke out of this downward channel, right? It's over $2 again. I do think that there is something to this. I've been speaking about Bitcoin DeFi for a long time. Sovryn has been building through the bear market. It launched at like peak bull last time. I do think they are going to hit the niche, right? And they're not just building on rootstock, right? They're coming out with their own roll-up technology for Bitcoin OS. They're also working with build on Bitcoin with runes. I don't know how. You're going to have to, excuse me, do more research on that, right? So it's very difficult for me to understand the technicalities of it unless I study it for long periods of time, right? Like I really understand stacks, right? It's going to take me a little bit longer to understand build on Bitcoin, right? There's a little more risk associated with that. If you're just listening to me, maybe you should listen to some other people who have more, are more savvy about those things. But it seems like build on Bitcoin is legit. Bitcoin OS, Yago seemed to outline why it's possible to have these specific type of rollups on this layer, right? Whether Sovryn moves to a build on Bitcoin layer or its own layer, right, is yet to be seen, right? That's still obfuscated for me. So you also want to be looking at the metrics. Are the total value locked going up, right? It's going up slowly, but the total value locked to the market cap is relatively fair value, I would say. If you look at it from like a PE perspective or whatever it is, price to earnings perspective, I think that's relatively fair compared to the market. ArcaDeco, I think, is going to catch up, right? It's going to be a good competition. Now, I think the most important thing you need to pay attention to, right, which is when I talked about this, is stacking DAO, right? If this continues to get adoption, which I think it will because it's a first mover, and you want multiple different type of liquid staking products, I think this is going to play into this thesis that I've been talking about. And I've been saying for months, the most important airdrop you can try to get is this one. Now, there's another one coming out that I'm going to talk about. It's just Lisa, which just started, that you can get an airdrop by. That's by Alex. But the reason I think this one is more important, right, is because of the stablecoin thesis that I have, and how it's playing into that and how it's integrating with those vaults. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to be the sole winner. Lisa, I think, is going to probably be wildly successful. I think this is going to be wildly successful, right? What is Lisa? Lisa is by the Alex guys. Stacking DAO is by the ArcaDeco and Zest guys, right? So same thing. You connect your Stacks wallet. You put them in. You get one. Oh, man, I'm tired. Sorry. It is been a long day. I worked today, Easter Sunday, you know, all the details. But you get an LI STX instead of ST STX. Now, this is the same exact product, I'm assuming, right? You can use the liquid stacks, so on and so forth. So now let's talk about TRAC real quick. everyone's been crapping all over TRAC lately. The price has obviously not been performing as well, right? I've been talking about TRAC though since 20 cents. I still believe in TRAC. I think it's going to release. You got the TRAC airdrop for TAP tokens coming soon. I do think they're going to be integrating with Bitmap. I posted under this thing. I retweeted it, like who's indexing for this. So they've got VC money. To me, it seems like a bad idea to be bailing on this right now because I do think this is going to be a leading protocol. Could I be wrong? Sure. But it's part of my thesis. My thesis has outperformed the market easily just because it's so apparent to me what is going on, right? Rather than trading in and out of all these different AI coins. I can't even buy BitTensor because I'm in the US. It's very difficult. I mean, I could if I really wanted to do like a VPN and figure out a way to do it, but it's just too much work. So to me, Bitcoin, DeFi, these meta protocols, right? And I've been saying since day one, just because Bitcoin DeFi is my thesis doesn't mean I wouldn't theoretically own a Solana and an Avalanche. I've been saying since the beginning, if you like an L1, you need to have exposure to it. Now, picking something under it, like the Solana Casino, picking a meme token, is very difficult, in my opinion. You can make a lot of money. I think it's very possible, but you've got to be clocked in, baby. I mean, you got to be like drinking Mountain Dew, just be totally clocked in. So now that I got all those things out of the way, I do think the euro dollar is still intact. The thesis coming to the U.S. I think it's the only way to save the U.S. dollar. Right now, let's talk about memes. Now, I get criticized. I've been criticized heavily by the Welsh community because I brought up Not, which they find offensive because they don't think it was the first meme. They think Welsh is. Welsh, I mean, it's very possible that this is a very bullish chart, right? It's got this triple support here. It might, pop after this, right? I talked about this with the Not chart the other day. To me, it looks very bullish, but it's insane not to be talking about the other memes because, Rock, I talked about it, 10K. It went up to 600K. It's at 500K now. So what is that? I mean, what is that? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, a 60X, right? And it's easy because you can see it pump and there's this lag time in stacks, right? Which is going to go away after Nakamoto, right? Where it's 5-second block times. But I still think it's easier to pick these memes on stacks than it is on Solana. So to me, it's insane to ignore this, insane to be just focused on Welsh. I like Welsh. I've been attacked by the Welsh community because I keep talking about other memes. But I want liquidity to come to stacks, right? I want stacks to succeed. And I think if you just get tunnel vision and talk about Welsh, right? You're you're disregarding a whole community that wants to buy smaller market cap memes, right? Who doesn't think the generational Welsh meme is funny, right? So to me, it's insane. But this chart, I will admit, does look bullish, right? I mean, but we'll see. So let's talk about another one I talked about. So I talked about Rock, right? Rock is now at 490 FTV, right? The chart looks insane. Right? What's going to happen? I don't know. If it can hold this support, maybe we go higher. I think they're probably trying to get on some exchanges at some point, right? The Discord is intact. There are people trying to address some of the issues. I'm bullish on it, right? Some of the other ones that might pump, right? Alpha's been pumping like crazy, right? 50K. You could have got this you could have just been looking at the charts, right? Oh, sorry, my screen away. And just been like, oh, you can't go to line. It's up 100%, right? It's up 200%. Fuck it. I'm going to put in $10. Now, I don't recommend this. This is obviously not a part of a theoretical portfolio, but very interesting play. NAKA, right? I said maybe 2 months ago or a month that I think this thing is going to pump because of the Nakamoto release. And here we are. The chart looks like this. It broke 1 million. Now it's going back down. I do think this is going to continue to pump because of the Nakamoto release, but again, high risk. It's at 700K. And you just got to go through these if you're going to do this and be like, oh my God, this is starting to pump. That's starting to pump. And I'm not talking about like a 26% pump. It's going to be like 169%. Okay, maybe Wojak, right? I don't really like Wojak, but like Alpha, right? Pump. That's what you see. It's 75%. Yeah. Maybe it's this one, 14.4K, right? To me, in my mind, it's not going to kill you to put 10 stacks in this, right? And then it goes 50x, right? And you get 500 stacks. I mean, it's just insane to be solely focused on Welsh when there's so few memes and they pump like this, right? Because of this huge lag time. I think the Solana meme season is coming to the stacks. When Nakamoto comes out, that's my thesis. I'm sticking to it. I think it's a smart thesis. I think it's wise. I know memes are stupid to a lot of people, but it seems like this is one opportunity where you should be jumping on it because memes are clearly pumping on every chain. It's going to be really hard to pick it on Base, on Solana, on Avalanche, right? I mean, like you could. I think it's much more difficult. To me, it's just like picking an AI coin, right? It's much easier to pick Bitcoin DeFi and stick with that thesis than go around and be like, oh, I want Palm AI, or I want this little AI coin, or GPU, right? It's very difficult to do that, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean it can't be done. Connor on Chain does it all the time. It's very good. I always recommend you should watch it, right? Now another one came out called Rue. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Kangaroo or whatever. Let's see. Now this is at 1.5 million. It got up to 2 million. To me, this reminds me of Welsh, right? Like it's too forced, right? Like it's like meme coins are supposed to be fun, right? It's not about getting exchange listings. It's not about all that. It's like just be quiet. Like it's about having fun. It's about community. It's like, and if you're gonna like attack people, right? Okay, I understand like attacking people about DeFi protocol. You don't like, right? Because you want the world to be a better place, right? I get it. You have some funds locked up, but this is a meme token. Like you should not be so full. Like if you're gonna get mad at people because you're so heavily invested in a meme token, I recommend you change your approach or just like block that person. Don't engage with that person because you're literally insane, right? I mean, you have, and I think we all have a little insanity, but to engage with someone about a meme token, about the wrong approach, or like, this is the best meme, right? This is the first meme you do. Like, I mean, you're insane. Like, you need to chill out, bro. Like, and that's coming from a guy who does not chill out. Now, how do you buy these things? Stack swap, right, is the only way. You can see 200 tokens in NAKA here, and I put maybe 10, right? So that's what it can turn into. I promise you I don't have 200 bajillion stacks, okay? It doesn't work that way. I got 200 in that. I wish, or I'd be retired, and I would not be talking about it. So we'll see. I'm just going to ride these things out. We'll see what happens, right? So Magic Eden, I just want to bring this up. On One Force is the reveal is not out, but this thing has been pumping. I think this art is going to be way better than ink, personally, which I don't find that attractive, right? This is 0.04. I mean, this is thousands of dollars. I don't find that attractive, but I could be wrong, right? On One Force, though, it's related to gaming. I think this is going to be wildly successful. I would like to wait for a better entry. This is very expensive, in my opinion. But we'll see, okay? So we'll see. Anyway, you can call me Hunch. What is that screen? Anyway, you can call me Hunch. I've got a hunch. I think you just need to relax, man. Like if your thesis is the meme, like don't make it be known via anger. That's my hunch, okay? I got a hunch. I think it's Bitcoin DeFi. I think it's the euro dollar, and I think it's Nakamoto meme season. It's very obvious to me. You should probably start paying attention. You can call me Hunch.